And we'd send 3 minutes at a time, and the AI algorithms were tuned for interrogating 3 minutes of ECG, and it would flag dangerous arrhythmias. And then it would also auto-generate a daily report like AFib burdens and PVCs and PACs and things of that nature. That product had a cloud-based AI, so we had multiple scalable servers in the cloud, on demand, microservices, the whole deal. Truly using cloud technology and at its best, and working to do early diagnosis. Now, the amazing thing about the product was we were actually saving lives real time with the product, but we couldn't market it that way. So, you had another one of those kind of strange FDA stories, right? Like, you can't say that it's a life-saving device. What we had to say was, it's an adjunct diagnostic device for interpreting ECG. Within 2 weeks of us deploying at Mayo Clinic, we got a call back from Mayo Clinic, the head of the electrophysiology lab there, and said, "This is amazing. We just had a wife call us because her husband didn't answer her cell phone. And at the same time, the tech was calling us to tell us that the patient was having a major event. And they dispatched directly to this guy's farm where he was driving a combine. And the ambulance arrived in time to save him. And
wow.
It's just one of the many stories where someone was wearing the device, and ultimately, because we were real time and because of the accuracy of it and the high level of technologists monitoring it, we're able to impact and save lives. And another not really anecdotal story, but true life story is visited home to see my father and my mother for my mother's 80th birthday. And we had arrived home with all the family to, visit family like you do, right? Everybody shows up. And my dad was complaining about being fatigued and having some chest pain, maybe a little bit of chest pain. And everybody's like, well, is it stress related? Are you kind of worried about mom? Are you worried about everybody being in town? And he just said, just something's off, and plus I'm having some problems swallowing. So I was there a couple of days and I said, Dad, you got to go to the doctor. Like, I don't know why you haven't been to the doctor for this. So I sent him into the doctor, and the doctor, they went to the emergency room, and he said, well, my EKG was normal, but they're not sure. So they want to keep me overnight, and they want to do a stress test in the morning. So they're going to do a stress echo in the morning. I said, okay, well, that'll be good. Yeah. It was inconclusive, right? The stress echo was inconclusive. So they sent him home with a GI consult. And they said, well, there's nothing wrong with your heart. You must have some GI issues. And I said, explain to me again the symptoms you're having. And he said, well, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. I said, you know what? I'm going to send you a Momi. That's the InfoBionic device, the Momi. I FedExed him a Momi overnight, called up the head of EP at Mayo Clinic and said, my father's going to be on this device. His physician discharged him. He's got a consult to follow up with cardiology next week and to follow up with, a GI doctor. They think he's got a, GI. I'm like, 6 hours later, I get a call from Mayo Clinic. You need to get your father to the hospital right away. I said, really? Yes. I'll send you the tracings right now. So everybody's familiar with the term widowmaker. That's what my dad had. He had a near complete blockage. He got to the hospital, showed them the tracings, and they're like, where did this come from? We didn't order this. Now, I said, well, good thing I had good secondary advice and was able to get a prescription for it.
Number one, who cares? Number two, shut up and just get working on it. We can talk about that later.
Well, so there's that. But the other piece was fundamentally, they're like, we wish we had this technology.
Oh, well, yeah.
So there's a second side of that. So it turns out he ends up being admitted to the hospital. And what do? They put in a stent. And he had already actually, unfortunately, when you catch it that late, there's already heart damage done.
Yeah.